It's another awesome Monday in the Federation of St. Christopher Nevis. It's Monday, March 15, as we gear up for another episode of Voices. Riding shotgun today is my ever charismatic partner in crime, co-hostess, Miss Margaret Stephen. First of all,
Good morning.
and we want to reach out to all the entire Voices family, all the folks within the Federation, those abroad, nationals, and the whole host of fans viewing or listening on the various platforms. Welcome to another episode of Voices. My name is Socrates, and of course, Ms. Stevens mentioned her name. Did she?
I did.
You did. All right. Today we have a special, a super guest for you, in the person of Miss Kesha Isacc-Adams. And for those of you who don't know her, don't know where you've been hiding. She's eminently known and respected. She's a playwright, a director, producer at New Age Production. And we'll go later on into, his CV, her many accomplishments and all that. But she's here today because we want to discuss some issues that I was impressed with from one of her plays that I attended a few weeks ago. But want to say shout out. Any shout outs before we get into?
No.
Okay. For the regular fan base, the Amber, the Chris Collins, I know he's attuned because he logs on. He's up there in Sheffield. It's good to know that folks out there are tuned to what's going on in St. Kitts. So today, Chris, I'm going to need your feedback as you hear more of Kesha's work and, her outreach accomplishments. So you got Chris, we got Brenda in Maryland, we got Amber in Anguilla, we've got DJ Mauricio in the Bronx, and we got Mr. Peter Ingonjuri at the Development Bank, and all the other folks. So welcome to the studios once again, as we introduce to you Miss Kesha Isacc-Adams. The mic is yours.
Hi, good morning, everyone. It's really good to be here once again. I think my last stint here on Voices was way back when Tony was still here.
You're talking about ancient times.
That was way back.
When my beard was black.
Way back. That was way back. Yes, I haven't been to WINN FM studios in quite a while.
That's quite a while.
Quite a while, yes. But I'm happy to be here. And I hope that through our discussions, something really good can come out of it. Because I really don't know what I'm going to get teamed up on with you two, but I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Well worth the while, and for those who will be listening today, of course, they'll be tremendously edified from our conversation. Now, you're also signed as, the ministry, is it education or culture?
I used to be at education. I recently left education, and I'm now in the developing ministry.
In the capacity of?
I am the assistant secretary for performing arts on the entertainment side at the Ministry of Entertainment, Entrepreneurship, and Talent Development.
Sounds like something that'll be interesting.
Yes.
There's an interesting end. All right. Now, one of the reasons why I asked you here, and this discussion was held a few weeks ago, I was very anxious to get you in on the program. But of course, you're a very busy person, family life, and as you mentioned here, the Ministry of Entertainment, Entrepreneurship, and Talent Development, that's a 24/7 job. I was invited by you
Me again.
to attend one of your plays of work, and I was given a choice. You got Saturday night, you got Sunday night. Make up your mind.
Yes.
So and it was staged at the Sadler's Great House.
Shadwell.
Shadwell. That's why you guys are here.
Yes, Shadwell.
The Shadwell Great House,
Yes.
and I attended there, and I was paying attention. There were 4 stages of it, was it?
Mm-hmm.
And I was paying attention throughout. I got the impression, okay. And there was a couple of characters there making commentary about it. I'm saying they should listen. Sometimes people laugh at the joke before they get it, and they were making commentary on the play, but they were being, making remarks, etc. And I was like, serious. And I got the impression that this is dark. This is dark. And at the end of the production, came up for the bows and the encores, and she made a presentation, which I had hardly grasped it. Was speaking about the darker side of society, things that happen that we as a people, not only here in St. Kitts, but globally, do not want to address in the public.
Okay.
And so I don't recall exactly, but I know there were a case of domestic abuse.
Yes, there was.
One ended in death.
Suicide, yes.
Dark. There was a case of a young man who was struggling to deal with his past abuse by person he trusted, and he didn't have the ears of parents, people to help him through that episode. So he again was talking about suicide. So that's why I said it was, the theme was dark.
Okay.
You know, there was depression and all the different things. So a lot of folks don't like to go to those topics. And if it is family related, it's an embarrassment. They don't want to deal with it for a variety of reasons. And you thought it was worthwhile and very important to deal with these themes, especially during this time of COVID, where you find there's a great need for support, emotional, etc., etc. And I want to thank you for that, because you can go to certain places and just laugh. It can be comedic, but this is more serious. So
Okay.
I want to ask you if you choose to speak to that particular play that you did, and why you thought it was necessary, and how you think it will help persons who would have attended there. And that wasn't a first showing, if I am correct.
No, you came to our last show, and that was our 7th staging.
Okay.
Yes, that was our 7th staging, because we staged it in November, and we originally planned for 2 weekends, so that would have been 4 stagings, and then we added in an extra night for the students who do theatre arts in school, so that they can have the material to critique, because it's a part of their syllabus to actually critique a live performance if it's possible. In places where it's not possible, they often have to use video plays to critique. But having taught the subject and having done the subject in university, I always find it is better to actually have a live show to critique, because you not only get like everything in the rawness that is presented, but you also get the mood of the audience and all of those. So when you're doing the critique, you can actually speak on those things, how impactful the piece was to the audience while they were there. So I prefer live performances for the students. So that was 5. And then after that, there was like this cry, like, but I didn't get to see it. I want to see it too. And I was like, yeah, but we already did it 5 times. I really want to move on. But I want to see it. You didn't tell me you were having it. I was like, the problem is that with COVID protocols and everything, we have to keep the numbers small.
To limit, yes.
And because we don't have our regular performance spaces, we had to create a space. And Cheryl Gray's house, the hall is really good for that.
The layout is awesome.
Because it gives you that intimate quality.
Okay.
So when you put on certain things, people have no choice but to feel, because it's right in their face. And I was like, okay, we'll do it one more time if the cast is up for it.
Okay.
I presented the idea to them. They said, sure. So we did it for one more weekend, which brought us up to 7.
Okay.
And I got the last. I got to see
You
the
got
last.
the last
Okay, so
show.
save the best for last.
You got the
Okay,
last show.
speak to us as to, if you may, the creative process and why you chose those themes and how you got into it and stuff like that.
When I was in university and I had my final year show to do, we had to choose. We were presented with several books, and we had to read them and then choose which piece we wanted to present. The first one I chose was from this guy called Christopher Durang, and he had a book of 3 plays. And the first one I chose was staged in a funeral parlor. a woman passed the window. There was a coffin in the shop. And she went inside and she climbed into the coffin and she lay down. And she just took a nap. And then the rest of the play happens in the parlor. And I thought it was like really, really interesting. And I took it to my teachers and I was like, this is what I want to do. And my external examiner, who has over the years still remained a very good friend of mine, she said to me, "You're very morbid, you know that?" And it never dawned on me that I was. Right? I've always been fascinated by death, yes, but I never put
So
the
it has
word
been
morbid
Yeah.
with it, right? It was just fascinating to me. And then I was like, okay, I'll change it. But I stuck to the book. So I ended up doing this piece by Christopher Durant called Identity Crisis, which is a psychological drama. And it has to do with different types of mental illness. And in doing research on the writer himself, it was proven that he himself went through bouts
Suffered
of
of some
depression and those things, and it affected him, and he turned to writing.
As
Yes, just to
expression,
vent
to get it out.
and
Yes,
all of
beautiful,
that.
beautiful.
And so there was one character that was schizophrenic and everything, and there was this one girl in it who tried to commit suicide, and her mother, who was an aging starlet but wasn't ready to really, accept that she was getting old, she got stuck in one of her stage characters. And this is how she lived every day as this
Right.
character.
Okay.
And when her daughter tried to commit suicide and she wanted to talk to her mom about it, her mother was like, "Oh, that never happened, dear," while holding a bloody dress. She goes, "No, that never happened, and
Denial.
throughout the whole production, the other characters basically drove this girl insane.
Oh, wow.
Right. And since doing that particular piece, I was like,
You found your calling in life?
actually, yes, because like my director of studies, he called me when I was on vacation, because doing directing, you had to do it in the first semester of your final year. That was compulsory. You didn't have to do it in your second semester, except if you were doing theater arts. But I was doing degree, so I didn't have to do it. And he called me when I was on vacation, and he was like, "I think you should sign up for that." I said, "I don't want to. It's stressful. I don't want to do that." He's like, "No, you're good at this. You need to do this." I go, "Well, I don't feel like I was really good in the first semester, and I don't want to do it. Directing is just stress."
Okay.
And he, like, my director of studies, like, was a little short, stressful man that just used to always get his own way. So he harassed me, and I was like, fine, I'll do it.
Okay.
So I ended up doing it. There were like 3 of us in the class. And then when my piece presented last, and when my piece was presented, there was an external examiner. She always falls asleep during examinations. And she was alert. She never blinked. She was laughing. She was enjoying it and everything. And what I was told after was that I got my grade before the play was finished.
Whoa.
Right? And after the play, here he comes. I'm in there cleaning up, and here he comes into the theater and go, "Say it." I go, "Say what?" He was like, "Say it." I go, "Okay, buddy, fine. You were right." You were right. So yes, I did find my calling at my final year, because you end up at the end of doing a stint at Edna Manley, you find out whether you are meant to be a teacher,
Yes.
a playwright, a director, or an actor. And even though I did well in acting, directing was my actual calling.
And it says
everything.
here that you attained first-class honors,
I did.
achieving a Bachelor's of Arts
did.
degree in Drama and Cultural Studies, etc.
Yes, I did
So you're
cultural studies at UAE.
Eminently qualified.
According
okay.
to the paper.
You
Yeah.
still haven't gone into
The play now.
yes.
So because of that, I realized that
We're gonna take hold on. We're gonna take a break at 20 past. So keep your eyes on the clock and just talk us into
Okay.
the play.
I realize that you don't have to do things as they're normally done here. It doesn't always have to be, comic. It doesn't always have to be light-hearted topics. You can actually talk about real things that people find very uncomfortable. And I'm here for that.
Okay.
I don't mind making people uncomfortable because then they think. I like making people think.
I think that's something that's needed, not the necessary. But when I say not what's common, but what is actually necessary, because I walked away with another view of these are the stories that we need to be focusing on, especially in terms of our young people. They're emerging in the society. I made reference, I don't think to you. It related to a former, well, he was this Mr. Positive, this character in the society. And when he passed by suicide,
Yeah.
he sort of shrugged it off. We've never had a conversation to speak about it. I think
Yeah.
what you're doing
Yeah.
leads to that. We must have these conversations.
Yeah. He was in the same production with
It was in the same
you.
production, yes, I know.
Yes.
And actually, a few years back, we did a presentation. It was a Valentine's Day show down on Spratnet. That was the last time we did like a live performance. We're talking about the late great Masood Siddiqui. That was a shocker. And we've never had an open conversation. So let me shut up again, and I say you got a few minutes to talk about the play. Sorry.
It was 20 past. It's 20 past now.
Is it 20 past?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to pause for a word from our very kind sponsors, and we'll come back and we get some more Mistress Kesha Isacc-Adams. Okay?
Found the sound 98.9 WINN FM. Get ready for an exciting year with Flow Broadband and TV connecting you at home. Sign up now and get a free Samsung tablet worth over $900. Up to 100 megabits per second blazing internet will keep everyone on top of everything every day. While Flow TV delivers the best home entertainment with the latest shows on demand in HD plus favorites you can record. Visit your nearest Flow store today to sign up for Flow Broadband and TV and get your free Samsung tablet. Conditions apply.
Feel the magic happening.
Campari.
Taste.
Something incredible happens when Campari is mixed just right. Like Campari and orange juice poured over ice. Taste it. Try it tonight. Bitter, sweeter, better. Campari. Must be 18 years and older. Drink responsibly.
Good morning once again, and welcome back to Voices. For those who are just joining us, we're having a little rap session with playwright, director, producer at New Age Productions, Mistress Kesha Isacc-Adams. And she was in the midst of telling us about one of the plays she produced rather recently. So we're going to give her back the microphone and listen and be edified.
Okay, so once I realized that I didn't have to always pander to my audiences and make them feel good about themselves, I think I just got like super bold straight out the gates in what I presented. And, you know, my earlier pieces, persons were like, I've never seen that done here in St. Kitts, that type of stage shows and everything. I've never seen that. Even when we did the Haiti production for Hope's Journey, I had Romain Belgrove. He played a rescuer who basically was digging children out of the rubble. And here he comes out covered in dust and ash and everything. And he brings our 3 girls and he lays them and he checks for a heartbeat and all of them are dead. And I remember I was backstage and I wrote it and I got teary every time it happened. And like my audience were like, oh my God, what is she doing to us? And I was, if you react that way, I feel satisfied. Yeah, you might not go home feeling like, oh gosh, you know, that was such a great night, but you went home feeling.
One of life's sobering moments that we need from time to time.
Yes. So we got to open door conversations. The thing about open door conversations, which is this one that we're talking about, is that these conversations often happen behind closed doors.
Yes.
So this was me opening the door
Okay.
to have the conversation. And so it was 4 one-act pieces, and each piece had 2 persons, just 2, so that there would be a dialogue. And the language that I used was plain speak as well as poetry. Because there are some things that I find it's easier to express poetically than just to, you know, open my mouth and let it come out. And I think the words hit harder, you know, when it's poetic. It sinks in deeper into somebody. So the first one, which the first piece was actually called Resolution. And it's the only one of the 4 pieces where the persons end up staying together in some fashion. The problem with it was that even though the conversation was resolved at the end, the relationship was still, as it started, it was toxic. And that was the problem. Here's this woman complaining that her husband doesn't listen to her. She doesn't pay her any mind. He's inconsiderate and all of those things. And here's he saying to her, you ought to be grateful. I don't beat you. I come home all the time. You know where I am. I don't question you. You could do as you like. And, you know, and you're still complaining. Why are you complaining? She's like, you're not listening. But at the end of it, because he begs and he pleads and he cries, and, you know, he said he's going to change, you know, she gets emotional and she's like, okay, I'll stay. Let's give it another shot. That's toxic.
Yeah.
Is that one with the black shirt?
Yeah.
The first one with the
With
shirt,
black
yes,
shirt,
yes. The whole shirt thing was it was a metaphor for another person. Because at the beginning, he's like, you're always making me wear black. You always have all the choices. The other thing that it spoke about is that there's very little communication happening in this relationship. And that's what happens, because she's like, but I used to ask you what you wanted, and you never actually used to have any input.
Decisive.
So I chose for you, and now that I'm choosing for you, you're upset. And whatnot. He's like, but why does it always have to be a black shirt?
Yeah.
You know what? I want another shirt. And he keeps repeating that line throughout that I want another shirt. And it ends up not him wanting another physical shirt, but him wanting another partner, him wanting another, wife or girlfriend or whatever. And at some point in it, she goes, maybe I'm the one who needs another shirt. And he's like, what is that supposed to mean, you know? Oh, you can say it, but I can't. You can want somebody else, but I can't. You know, that was the whole back and forth between them. And they chose to stay together in a toxic environment. Wow. Nothing was actually resolved.
Yeah.
Right? So that was the first one. The second one was an abusive relationship where the guy had beaten the girl and then he left. So he comes back with flowers and wine, and he's apologizing and he's repenting and he's vowing to get therapy and to change and all of those things. And she's like, nope, I'm leaving. And he's like, no, you can't leave. You're going to screw with our home. She's like, this isn't a home. Right? And in their conversation, he entertains her venting about the relationship. He entertains her calling him out on his cheating and all of those things. He even throws it back on her and tells her, it's your fault that I cheat.
Men do that a lot. Yes, they do
I
that
realize
a
I'm
lot.
outnumbered. But you're actually reflecting real life situations. And it's
Yes.
really important to have these conversations because a lot of folks do things and don't know what triggers them. And they go on blindly repeating the same mistakes time after time.
Exactly. But she's like, nope, I'm not staying. And then after a while, he's like, you know what? I've entertained you long enough. Go and cook my dinner. She's like, yes, that was exactly her reaction, that look of shock. Like, what? Have we been having the same conversation? Like,
Exactly, yeah.
you know? So he's like, no, I've listened to your tantrum and now it's boring.
yeah.
Go and make my dinner. You know, you're emotional and I'm tired of it. So go and make my dinner. And that ends up being like combative and she tries to pack and all of those things. He ends up like slapping her and she's still fighting. So she has definitely made up her mind to fight this time.
Yeah.
So she's fighting him and everything. And, you know, there's this one part in it where he says to her, so what do you want to do? You want to go out and tell your story and play the victim? And she's like, no, I don't want to join any movement against your kind. I just want to live my life. And that's the thing. There is a movement that calls out people who are abusive, because it's not just men.
No.
But there's a movement that calls out people who abuse other people, and those persons who are in this movement often get ridiculed,
Yes.
or you know, sometimes they get plain out cursed out.
Yes.
Oh, you know, what did you do? Why he had to hit you?
That's
Exactly.
normally the reaction. She must have done something.
Yes.
Yes.
Right? And you know, I grew up with
You
that
notice
whole
I'm agreeing with you
phrase.
guys?
I grew up with that phrase. Well, if he ain't hit me, he ain't love me.
Yep.
I was like, what nonsense that?
Now that there are people who have that mindset and they actually live it.
I don't understand it.
It
You
is
won't.
because of how they have been nurtured. It is how they have been nurtured. People have even taken the words from the Bible about being a submissive wife and turn it from submission to subjection. And they don't understand what it means to be submissive.
Exactly.
I'm saying to you that I am willing to put aside, like, say, my stubbornness for this union to work. I am willing to not be as strong, you know, opinionated, so that
Exactly.
we could talk about it. I mean, I'm still going to have my opinions, but I'm saying, come, let's
Yes,
talk about it. I'm not going to be like, oh, well, you can say whatever you want. I can do exactly how I like. That is what submission is.
Exactly.
It's that when you lead me as the head of my household in the proper way,
Yes.
then I
Then
will
you'll become,
follow
yes,
you.
because
Exactly. And that's
Right.
the bit that they forget.
Yes.
That's the bit that they forget. All they see is submission.
Yes.
And that means foot on your neck.
Yes. Yes. So that's what this was. And, you know, he beats her, he goes to beat her, and he takes off his belt. And I remember, because she's on the ground now, and I remember somebody in the audience, because I sit to the back when this is happening so that I can gauge everybody's reactions. And one audience member was like, weird, but is he child?
Okay.
Is he child? He taking off belt? Is he child?
was it a male or female voice?
I've heard it from both, depending on the
Okay,
night.
okay.
I heard it depending on the night, right? And, you know, stranger, her mother was in the show one night, and afterwards she was like, girl, my friend had to be like, remember it's a play. Remember it's a play." 'Cause I was ready.
The
I was
emotion.
ready to go up.
Emotion.
And one night her best friend was there, and I heard her jump up and go, hey, don't kill her for real, you know? So people really were scared for her.
Yeah.
They really were
I'm
scared
very
for
invested.
her. Yeah, because then he says to her very calmly, I'm sorry, you can leave. You can go. Get your stuff and go. And she gets up, she gets her bags, and she's leaving, and he stands behind her. And before I said, because you didn't get to see, so before I really reveal that part, one of the girls who came the Saturday night before you came, she sat right to the front. And when he said to her, "You can go," the girl said, "Girl, don't go nowhere." Don't go. Don't go. Go cook your food, like he said. Don't go nowhere. Go cook your food. Right? And when she was leaving, he stood behind her and he said to her, "I forgot one thing. The only way you're going to leave me is in a body bag." And he takes the belt and he strangles her.
Okay.
It's what happens after he strangles her. He blames
her. See what you make me do?
for him killing her. He says, "I've always loved you, and look what you made me do." Yes, we get the blame even after we are dead.
Exactly.
Right? But then that was actually number 3, because number 2 was quite the opposite of number 3, in that the woman was the antagonist.
Okay.
She was the mean one. She's really sweet in real life. But the audiences
your actors
did
were
not
spot
like
on.
her at all.
Yep. She played a role very well.
Afterwards,
It
I
was
had to be
real.
like, guys, she's really sweet in real life. She's nothing like this. She's nothing. She's my best friend. She is nothing like this, right? But this was Latoya Rose and Omandi Byron. And Omandi, like, he played this guy who really just wanted the love of this woman. And sometimes I think we want the love of somebody else so much that we end up sacrificing ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah, we just offer ourselves as a living sacrifice to our partners, and we end up getting treated bad for it. And she was terrible. Like, she really was terrible. She talked down to him. She told him, "Look at you. You're not a man. You're a little boy." That's a jab hard right to a man's manhood.
Exactly.
Lord, And she said, "I want to leave. This isn't a house. This isn't a home. This is a lie. This is news to him." Like, she tells him, all you do is annoy me. You just irritate me every day I come here. It's just you here, nothing else, just you. He's like, so what can I do? What am I supposed to be except me? And she's like, I want more. I want more than this. So then during their conversation, it is revealed basically that, yes, she had an affair, but it wasn't that she had an affair during the marriage at first. It was that this happened before they got married with his best friend after she met him. So she says she met both of them simultaneously. She fell in love with the friend, was sleeping with the friend behind his back and whatnot, got pregnant, was wild.
And he's just finding out about all this during the play.
8 years into the marriage.
Yep.
And she's like, after I got pregnant, I told him so that we could get married and be together. And he said he wasn't ready for that. So she ended up having an abortion, which upset him because here he was trying to tell her, let's have a baby. And she was like, no, I don't want, no. And him not knowing that she already had a whole abortion.
Wow.
And everything. So after that, she's like, I stayed with you because I felt guilty. Yes, I felt guilty and I stayed with you. And over time, I learned to care about you, but I don't love you like that. So now she's bitter. But the bitterness only came on because here comes the best friend again. And they went back at it. And so she now already planned her exit from this marriage and everything. And he's like, so why didn't you leave? And she's like, because he did it again. He did it again. Not only didn't he want to be with her, but he was engaged to get married to somebody else. And she's like, the gall and audacity of this man running in and out of my life. And her husband was like, the gall and audacity, you got the gall and audacity. And you could see how she didn't care about him, because when she was recounting her experiences with the best friend, she was all enthralled in it. She was like, it was amazing. He's like, what?
And I'm thinking, I guess most of them were thinking, Boy, he got a lot of it.
Oh, trust me. A lot of the guys, especially even some of the women in the audience, were like, "Boy, just slap she." I was like, no violence. Let's not do that. Right? They honestly felt for him. And I had to say, at the end of it, he's like, you wasted so many of my years when I could have been with like Lisa. He just called a random name. And she bristled.
Who's
she
Lisa?
was like, who is Lisa? He's like, you don't get to ask me that. Lisa could be anybody. It was just a random name. He called to say I could have been with somebody who truly loved me.
Yeah.
And here you are treating me bad. And she's like, you're right. You don't deserve this. You're a good person. And this is what I get for being good. I'm good to you, and this is what I get. And she said she was sorry. Didn't mean anything to him. And she left. And that one was called A Man's Tears. And I named it A Man's Tears because so many times in society we do not pay any attention to a man's emotions.
Yes.
Because men in particular like to repeat the whole phrase about women being the weaker sex and how women are always so emotional.
I would say the uninformed man or the uninformed male.
I take
I don't buy
that. I'll take that. But the thing is, men are so emotional, but they just express emotions differently, but they're still emotions. Where a woman might cry, a man will get super angry and
Pent-up
irritable.
rage.
Yes.
Okay.
Or he'll just hush.
You're listening to Voices, and we are in a discussion with playwright Kesha Isacc-Adams, discussing real-life situations as reflected in her plays. And we're going to pause for a word from our sponsors. When we return, we'll open up the lines for calls to, if you want to engage in the very, very interesting debate we're having. But I'm going to pause for a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back with Margaret Stevens and Kesha Isacc-Adams.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is WINN FM.
You need a drink, have a fever, fever. You want some fun, get a Viva, Viva. Taste the flavor, have a Viva, Viva. Oh yeah, Viva is the one. Say goodbye to boring. Let me hear you sing. Got to have my Viva, whatever, so much better.
Viva Sparkling Flavored Water. Water, but better.
Get ready for an exciting year with Flow Broadband and TV connecting you at home. Sign up now and get a free Samsung tablet worth over $900. Up to 100 megabits per second blazing internet will keep everyone on top of everything every day. While Flow TV delivers the best home entertainment with the latest shows on demand in HD plus favorites you can record. Visit your nearest Flow store today to sign up for Flow Broadband and TV and get your free Samsung tablet. Conditions apply.
Good morning and welcome back. You're listening to Voices. We are here with Kesha Isacc-Adams, playwright and director. Join the conversation. Our numbers are 466-0989, 662-0989, 762-0989. And for those of you in New York, 718-265-6984. Miami, 508-921-4619. And for those of you joining us from the UK, 0333 04 40065. Okay, Kesha, over to you.
Yes, I was saying that men just express differently, and a lot of the times because they have been nurtured to believe that
To present the
emotions
macho
are wrong.
image, etc.
Yes, it makes you
cry,
less
you're
than.
sissy, and you don't want to go with that
Yes.
because there's a contest on the play field in schoolyards, etc. You have to man up.
Yes.
And to a very large extent, a lot of people who are more sensitive become damaged.
Yes.
They have to live a life and pretend who they're not. And we welcome our first caller to the program. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Voices.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Not too bad for an old man. Yourself?
Not too bad. I just heard that there's a little demonstration, little strike at the East Line bus terminal. And
East
the
Line-
drivers the park were issued tickets.
They were issued tickets where they were parking?
Yes.
Okay.
It sort of tells me that the first thing they choose to do is issue tickets instead of trying to get the situation resolved. I mean, people are striking because things are hard, Socrates.
Yes. Okay.
Things are tight, things are hard, and the first thing you do is to issue tickets to even put them in to incur more expense.
Let me ask you a question. I just got information that it was like a protest action. They had blocked the exit for the areas, and that's where they issued tickets.
The exit to go out?
Yeah, in and out. They had blocked them in a sort of protest action. I'm not saying, I'm just trying to verify because you may be there.
Mm-hmm.
Was it a protest action?
I didn't hear exactly how they were parked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you got to try to resolve situation at times. You know, issuing a ticket isn't the best thing to do. It's one way of dealing with it, but it's not the best way of dealing with it. I mean, definitely, sometimes you could try to negotiate. I can remember a time that a number of taxis were parked up by the Deepwater Port. They were close to the Metalcraft shop there by the King Collins Stadium.
Yeah.
On the seaside of the road. And the inspector came up there with the sergeant and called issued tickets and called touch truck and was towing people's vehicles just like that.
I recall.
Even when people came at the scene, before the inspector asked people to move the vehicle, he was really not talking to people, just taking up the vehicle and towing your vehicle when you were not parked under your line. And these are the kind of injustice sometimes that happens. And these are critical times. These are times that people are out there suffering. But you know, the problem I have is that people that are still making their full salary doesn't understand when there's no salary because they're getting their full salary.
Okay, here's a question. Do you know if there have been any response from the president or the executive of the East Line Bus Association?
No, I know. I'm not privy to that information. Not
Okay.
any. You know.
But you're calling the report that you understand that they were ticketed, the bus drivers were ticketed because of
Somebody told me while I was in town just now. Somebody told me that, so I didn't really get a chance to get details about it. Unfortunately, and I got home, and I was trying to get on the radio, but I'm not picking up the radio station from where I am.
Okay, well, I appreciate the call. I think the folks here at WINN FM would have some insight because it was the engineer who informed me that there was an issue, probably was a protest action being taken, and the police responded by giving tickets. So that may be the situation.
Socrates, let me ask you a question. As the president of the St. Taxi Corps, what are you guys? You guys are doing anything to alleviate some of the financial burden now for any of the drivers, even counseling, you know, anything like that?
There are two projects ongoing at the moment. One is being planned for probably on the Easter weekend. It's going to be a taxi fun day. I'm working with the other cooperatives, the farmers, fishermen, to do something for, the taxi cooperative. The other is, as you may know, we're in discussion to approach government to see how they can alleviate our situation. So that's in the works. But in terms of generating income, there is a planned collaboration between the farmers and the St. Kitts and Nevis cooperative. But that's a cooperative because we're going cooperative to cooperative. But in the general population, there's been no cohesive movement as far as I'm concerned. As far as I know, sorry.
I go to, I'm a street man, I don't be on the street. I don't be on the street early.
So then are you saying that you know the answer before?
And late at night. Socrates.
So are you saying you know the answer before I gave it?
Huh?
Are you saying that you know the answer to the question you're asking me before I gave it?
No, I'm not saying that. I just want to re-emphasize about the struggling people.
We had hits. I am one who not worked since last March.
Who are very prosperous at the moment. People who didn't work, who wasn't working. People who had a different trade, easy trade. And the hard-working people can't get nothing. And there's some people are laughing at us. Laughing at us. Feel like they run the country. And it's a shame. It's a shame. I know sometimes when you speak out, you become public enemy number one. But people have to really speak out because enough is enough. Enough is enough.
Last question. What would you like to see happen?
The taxi drivers, them are getting together.
Are they?
You got so much things happening and they're not getting together.
Therein lies the issue.
Getting together to discuss and support one another. Taxi drivers need to wake up and support one another. Not because your boss ain't your tech way. You got your boss and you offer it and you still have it. We need to get together to deal with this thing, pandemic. We are in a pandemic too,
May I ask a question? Do we have a planned meeting in the next couple of weeks?
I'm not so sure of that. I'm not privy to that.
You were part of that discussion.
A planned meeting?
Yeah, we had a discussion about getting the drivers together, and there was a certain protocol to put in place before.
No date. I don't recall there was a date set.
No, it was tentative. The next couple of weeks.
Yeah. Well, things will be tentative for years, man.
But you know better. You're one of the person who initiated this whole thing, so we're waiting for a certain thing to fall in place before we call the general pop together.
No, I'm not talking about that. I understand where you're coming from. But I'm talking about the individual drivers. Not the top, not the executive. Because if the individual drivers get together, they also motivate the top people to follow them and to take action. But sometimes a man may feel, well, nobody interested.
They're asking for leadership. They're asking for leadership. They're not going to spontaneously get together. They're asking for leadership. I was asked this morning.
Sometimes you got to show the leaders that we're ready. We're ready to get together.
Who is the you? You said sometimes you have to show the we.
We.
So be part of the we. Be part of the getting the groups, the guys together. As you said, they're not together. They're not together, but there's a we. So we are not together.
Of course.
There you go. So therein lies the issue. I can see the correlation you're making with the bus drivers because we're all out here affected, individual businesses. Yes.
Exactly. I'm going to probably put on my T-shirt, I can't breathe.
There you go. Yeah. What is action gets reaction.
I can't breathe. You can't breathe. We can't breathe. That's the point you're reaching to know.
Okay.
And if you can't breathe, you can't do a lot of things, You know that?
You're a member of an organization. You're a member of the St Kitts Tax Association. What is your leadership doing? Have you reached out to the leadership, top executive, to plan some course of action?
We had a setback because we had a change in the leadership. So the president stepped down.
Since then?
Yes.
I'm saying you and I were part of that group, that discussion.
I'm giving the caretaker president, the caretaker in the present position, time to build himself and get things going. That's what I'm doing.
Okay, Yatters. I think you're being heard far and wide, and I understand people are getting the gist of what you're saying, but of course...
Before I go, I can't breathe.
Okay. Be sure to wear your mask and sanitize, okay? Be safe, and we'll take it from there. Oh, okay. That was the first call. Very interesting. And I understand he's making the correlation between the taxi driver and the bus drivers and the challenges we're facing. It is all part and parcel of what's going on globally, and we here have to look after ourselves. So it's a matter of getting together, because he's saying the taxi drivers are not together. I know that. He knows that. We had a discussion. We're attempting a meeting with the general population, but we're trying to get some things in place first so we can address them. Here's how we can approach the establishment to see about getting some release. But I guess it's the frustration that bubbles over from time to time to time.
Okay, so we are coming up to the hour. So we...
Welcome to Voices. Una momento. Dame un momento. Call your live on Voices. Please go ahead. Mr. Caller.
So Kesha, we've heard about your play.
You heard about 3.
Yes. But I'm good. Are you going to be with us after the...
Yes, I'm here today.
Okay, wonderful.
Caller.
Welcome, caller. You're on Voices.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
I want to say something to Socrates.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Socrates,
Sir.
there's a party going on in the Caribbean.
And a what?
A party going on in the
Apartheid?
Caribbean.
Apartheid?
Apartheid, yes.
Yeah.
And I hear no government nor no black activists talk about it. Now, we're trying to get at. I think was when the last time the hurricane passed. What do you call the place? Okay, let me come up for that. Haiti and Santo Domingo.
Oh.
Santo Domingo decide they're gonna put a
wall, a fence that
running
divides
from the sea to the mountain. Now, in Haiti, right in Santo Domingo right now, it have a small village where the Haitian live.
On the border.
And they have them fence around. They cannot go out and mix with the Santo Domingo.
The Dominicans, yeah.
No, I heard the president or the prime minister say Santo Domingo is not a black country, it's a white country. Spain make it a white country because Spain control it. It was a colony of Spain. He said the blackness that come in there come from Haiti. And so he don't want them in the country no more. I mean, you got Haitian in there from day one, but
Born
they
there.
never register.
They were actually born there.
They never registered to be Santo Domingans. They ain't got no papers. They are Haitians. Now the Bahamas with the hurricane round up some when the hurricane come because whatever is going on, and they send them back to Haiti.
They even blame them for the hurricane.
And some of the Caribbean islands leaders talk about it. But now Santo Domingo is treating Haiti like dogs. I don't hear nobody talking about it. Now look at something. The Santo Domingans could come out and go to any country in the Caribbean and settle down and live good. They could use all, especially St Kitts.
And the Haitians are not giving the same reception. I'm trying to get you on because we're approaching the middle hour.
They could use all the facilities. They get children.
All the accommodations are offered to
They
them.
walk, go and come. Nobody troubling them. Some of them are so out of order they want to take away your work. Right? But let me say this. What goes to one goes to all.
Should.
Because, no, what I'm trying to say is this. When you hear me say, what goes to one goes to all, you know. Now, Haiti is the more black nation in the Caribbean because Haiti get the independence in 17-something.
1791. 1791.
Okay, good. Right?
That was a revolution. It was 12 years after.
There is more black Africans than a lot of us in the Caribbean because a lot of us in the Caribbean being mixed.
So, unfortunately, we're approaching the midday newscast. We're pushing 12 o'clock. I will hope if you can call back because this is a very strong topic with me. I don't want to cut you, but we're pushing the... so you got about 20 seconds to wrap up.
Okay. So what I'm saying, you ain't here... Okay, I'll call back. I'm going to call back.
Please, I appreciate that. And this will take us back to... Was it 2019, there about 2000, when we did a play about Haiti after the earthquake?
2009.
2009?
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to get into that, so this is a segue into that after the top of the hour newscast. So we break now for the midday newscast, and we'll be back with you after. So thank for all the listeners and viewers for being with us for the first segment of Voices. We'll be back with the super... Yes.
Super.
Yeah. Kesha Isacc-Adams. Okay? Thank you very much. Bye.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. WINN FM.
Get ready for an exciting year with Flow Broadband and TV connecting you at home. Sign up now and get a free Samsung tablet worth over $900. Up to 100 megabits per second blazing internet will keep everyone on top of everything every day. While Flow TV delivers the best home entertainment with the latest shows on demand in HD plus favorites you can record. Visit your nearest Flow store today to sign up for Flow Broadband and TV and get your free Samsung tablet. Conditions apply.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. WINN FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Carib Brewery.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world. Whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous, you can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air. We get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises, telephone number 466-9595.
We are faced with tough decisions every day, but choosing the right home or motor insurance shouldn't be one. You need fast claim settlement from a company that's been rooted for over 31 years. And don't forget the A Excellent rating by AM Best. Make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Reliable insurance that you can count on. Get Get a quote today for your home, motor, contents, and liability insurance needs, and make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance. Tomorrow secured. Local agents, Dalil Walwyn & Co. Limited. Telephone 465-2631 or 469-5303 for the Nevis office.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built non-governmental healthcare organization on St Kitts, offering 24-hour nursing, therapeutic, and residential care for older adults? It's situated at Otley, 7 miles east of Vastair in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodation to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020, fax 466-8221, or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com, or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Officials have launched what they describe as an aggressive contact tracing exercise on Nevis after 8 guests at a prominent resort in Nevis broke curfew on 2 separate occasions in recent days. WINN understands that the unnamed hotel is the Four Seasons Resort. The National COVID-19 Task Force issued a press statement Sunday. As a result of these 2 security breaches and the fact that the 8 guests may have come into contact with a number of local individuals at a night spot in Nevis, an aggressive contact tracing exercise has been started by the Ministry of Health. This process will result in the quarantine and testing of the individuals who may have been exposed to the 8 guests of the resort in an effort to control the spread of infection should any of the 8 guests test positive for COVID-19. The task force said its investigations have revealed that the first of the 2 incidents occurred on Thursday evening and involved 2 guests who illegally left the resort's premises for approximately 2 hours. The second breach took place after midnight on Saturday morning and involved 6 guests who also managed to leave the resort's compound without authorization. The individuals who broke curfew have been removed from the resort and are now in a government quarantine facility while they await a hearing before the magistrates' court to answer charges of breaching the country's quarantine regulations, according to the press statement. The people on the investigation have not been named, but were part of a tour group staying at the resort that was approved for a vacational place for travelers who test negative for COVID-19 on arrival. Bus drivers at the East Line bus terminal in Bastyr are staging protest action Monday. WINN's Kevin Brown is on the scene and spoke to Ronald Isaac, the public relations officer of the East Line Bus Association.
We have a lot of issue here with this terminal after opening 2018. We have problem coming in the queue, and they said that they're going to rectify it. I was one who encouraged the guys from where we was loading up at Broad Street, and up to now, nothing, right? It's 2019 buses. There is a problem, more problem getting in here, okay? We went through the whole 9 yards. The last person we were supposed to go to is the Prime Minister. We went over him a couple times. We didn't get to him. He said make an appointment to see him. We already went and make an appointment in Government House. I spoke with Mrs. Huggins, and up to now, no appointment. We had a meeting last week, Thursday, with Channel Transportation Board, where they had a lawyer, and me and our secretary was thrown out. So there is nothing else we could do but this, because right now I would say that the only space we have to go now is to the devil, and this is what the devil is telling us, right? We have about 11 buses that were supposed to in here working with us, and they're downtown making all the money, right? Making all the money, and the police officer them down there working with them. This man who's supposed to be working with us have 3 buses, okay? So there is nothing happening with us. Up here, the bank running down people, running down some busmen up here, they're unable to pay, and these are the things. So right now, we asking them for terminal to terminal, and we're asking them for terminal to terminal, okay? And they will agree, and up to now, nothing.
The president of the East Line Bus Association, Mr. Jefferson Pemberton, also spoke to WINN.
Over the years, the government has promised us through the ministry, which was then led by me and Patrice Lyman, and those promises were not fulfilled. In fact, in Parliament, they mentioned that they would be assisting us in whatever way to help us to apply our trade, and that was not done. Now, I have written to numerous government officials, had meetings with them about our situation, and up to today, we are seeing no results. So the guys, the members, they are frustrated, they're fed up, and they're saying enough is enough. When we moved to this terminal, we were promised a lot of things: police presence, people to guide us and to help us upholding law and order, but we're not seeing that. In fact, when buses come from the Bay Road, they pick up passengers and are soliciting passengers while walking to the terminal, while buses are here parked for hours. And to us, that is not fair. If you are running down the Bay Road, nobody's stopping you from running down the Bay Road. You collect your passengers at the Bay Road and you go to the country. But to pick up passengers who are coming towards the terminal, to come and help them here or park to apply their trade, that to us is wrong. There is no bus stop in between those areas, so it doesn't give any bus operator the right to stop and collect passengers. They have to come to the terminal, collect their passengers, and go to the country. And we find it is unfair for us. Police, they're not doing anything in terms of sending the police here. When we have crossing guards here, sometimes you don't find them. When they're here, they're chatting, they're not paying attention. Bus is still outside picking up passengers while they should be on duty. And the guys, they're just fed up. They just can't take it anymore.
At news time Monday, the bus drivers were protesting in front of government headquarters in Bastille. The Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, OECS, celebrates its 40th anniversary today, Monday, 15th March. OECS Chairman, the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, Mr. Roosevelt Scarrett, praised the unity of the integration movement.
This 40th year is a historical marker on a road of increasing convergence, greater anticipation, and unyielding possibility. Notwithstanding the bad weather through which we have had to journey, there have been bursts of sunshine. Notwithstanding the pain we have endured, we have also enjoyed the blessings of rain. And we have reached this milestone for one simple reason. We have always focused on the things that unite us rather than the things that divide us. Every time we hold hands tighter, encircling the elements of unity, we strike a blow against the shackles of disunity. Our darkest moments have been illuminated by light and that spirit of unity.
The Director General of the OECS Secretariat, Mr. Didicus Jules, in brief remarks, mused on the power of the written word.
It has been repeatedly claimed that the pen is mightier than the sword. And the truth of this is debatable, because while empires have been forged by steel and have been maintained by the sword, they have also fallen by the sword. The pen, for its part, has shaped mentalities that have far outlived empires. It has authored ideologies that have created fictions of difference on the pretext of geography, race, class, gender, that has influenced many tribes to which we belong, and have erased our elemental belonging to the human race. But the pen has also lifted our gaze above those limiting categories to see beyond ourselves. It has found expression in the holy books of humanity and has established notions of divinity that lie beyond the hubris of man. In our own geography, the pen has also etched the scroll of our history in the treaties of warring empires that have divided our archipelago, to the bills of sale that have transacted the greatest commodification and sale of people in the human experience, right up to contemporary times. In our time, we have sought to be the authors of our destiny, and we have wielded the pen to express our ambition. And so it came to be that with a simple flourish of the pen, on the 18th of June 1981 in Basse-Terre, in the Federation of St Kitts and Nevis, the people of vision brought into being the OECS. And today, 40 years later, the word has assumed substantial flesh.
The British High Commission in St. John's, Antigua says there is no scientific evidence to determine that a new variant of COVID-19 originated in Antigua and Barbuda. In a press statement this weekend, the High Commission expressed concern about media reports following the announcement by the Public Health England that 2 people who recently returned from Antigua and Barbuda had tested positive for a new variant of COVID-19. The British High Commission said there is no scientific evidence to determine where the variant emerged, and given variants, a country's name is inaccurate, unhelpful, and can generate prejudices and misunderstanding. It added, all viruses mutate over time, and since the start of the pandemic, many thousands of variants have been identified in the UK and across the world. The majority of variants emerge and subsequently become extinct as they stop being passed on. This is assisted by testing, contact tracing, and isolation.
This is the Carib Update News Service. I am Wendy Chateau reporting. The United Nations calls on Haitian authorities to clarify circumstances surrounding the recent slaughter of police officers there. This is the big story we're tracking this hour on Monday, March 15, 2021. Details of this story and more straight ahead. Now for the details, the United Nations is calling on Haitian authorities to clarify the circumstances surrounding the deaths and injuries of several members of the Haiti National Police in a police operation turned deadly in a Port-au-Prince slum known for harboring kidnapped victims and a notorious gang. The United Nations Integrated Office in Haiti said it is shocked by the deaths of members of the security forces in Village of God on Friday. It did not specify how many officers were killed, but expressed condolences to the families of the victims. Acting Haiti National Police General Director Leon Charles confirmed during a brief press conference Saturday that 4 officers had been killed and 8 wounded. The failed anti-gang operation by specialized units of the Haitian police have shaken Haitians and triggered the trending Free Haiti hashtag on social media. Many have been seeking answers as to how officers were ambushed by an armed gang under the command of a leader in a slum run by a guy who goes by the name Izo and 5 Seconds. Video shared on social media showed armed gang leaders desecrating the bodies of slain SWAT officers. One photo also showed heavily armed men sitting on the hood of one of the armored vehicles riddled with bullets. Trinidad and Tobago's health authorities assured people there that the AstraZeneca vaccine remains safe and the scheduled rollout there is going ahead as planned. This as the World Health Organization continues to investigate if recent blood clotting incidents in patients from certain countries in the European Union was a direct cause of the vaccine. Commenting on concerns after few countries in the EU suspended the administration of this particular vaccine, epidemiologist Dr. Avery Hines and medical chief of staff at the Eric Williams Medical Sciences Complex, Dr. Joanne Paul, said there were still strong recommendations from experts relating to the protection that this vaccine can provide. Speaking during the Ministry of Health's briefing on the weekend, Paul noted that close to 50 million people in the world had already received the AstraZeneca vaccine with no issues. Bermuda officials are reporting that more than 25% of citizens have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, while 16% are fully immunized. Some 17,395 of the 64,000 people living in the British Overseas Territory received the first dose of the Pfizer vaccine. The country says 10,332 people received the 2 doses required for full immunization. 27% of the population received at least 1 dose of the vaccine. The news came as the Ministry of Health reported a COVID-19 infection in a resident with no links to known cases or recent travel history. There are now 28 active cases. This is Newsbreak from the Carib Update News Service. In more news, Jamaica recorded 587 new cases of COVID-19 on the weekend, pushing the total number of cases to 30,499. The positivity rate is now at 36.8%. One additional death has brought the overall death toll to 485. Another death is under investigation. Still in Jamaica, that country's opposition People's National Party, PNP, has called on the health minister to review his decision to inoculate thousands of Jamaica Defence Force soldiers with the COVID-19 vaccine starting Monday. The Ministry of Health and Wellness issued a release on the weekend advising the public that starting today through to Friday, March 19, only healthcare workers and members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force and Jamaica Defence Force will be inoculated with the COVID-19 vaccine. In a statement, Shadow Minister of Health, Dr. Maurice Guy, argued that the soldiers should not be prioritized over elderly persons who are more at risk of dying from the virus. However, Dr. Guy added that he is not opposed to police personnel getting the jab. Got to Be Tough by Toots and the Maytals has won the Grammy Award for Best Reggae Album. The announcement was made Sunday night, just before the live telecast of the Grammy Awards from Los Angeles. Got to Be Tough was released on August 28th. This is the 7th nomination from frontman Toots Hibbert and 6th overall nomination for the Maytals. Hibbert, 77, died on September 11 from COVID-19 complications. This has been another edition of Newsbreak from the Carib Update News Service, the Caribbean's newsroom. Reporting this hour, I am Wendy Chateau.
Italy is headed for a new lockdown. Measures approved on Friday mean that half of Italy's 20 regions, including cities like Rome, Milan, and Venice, will be on full lockdown as of Monday. Easter weekend, April 3rd through 5th, there will be a national lockdown. Now, the reasons for the new measures are twofold. One is the increase in the daily number of cases. On Thursday, Italy reported more than 25,000 new daily cases. That was its highest record since November, and it jumped to over 26,000 cases on Friday. The other is the presence of variants. According to the Italian Ministry of Health, the variant first identified in the UK is now prevalent in Italy, and the variant first identified in Brazil is showing small clusters in Italy. Prime Minister Mario Draghi, speaking on Friday, said he understood the effects that these new measures would have on children's education, on the economy, and on the psychological well-being of Italians. Nonetheless, he said they were necessary to avoid further deterioration. The Prime Minister also promised to accelerate the vaccination program. Delia Gallagher, CNN, Rome.
Live from NPR News, I'm Giles Snyder. President Biden will be traveling this week to promote the nearly $2 trillion coronavirus relief plan he signed into law last week. NPR's Aisha Roscoe reports.
President Biden will be traveling to Pennsylvania and Georgia this week to make the case that he's delivering help to the American people. The coronavirus aid package passed with 0 Republican votes. Republican lawmakers have argued that the law is too expensive and not targeted enough to responding to the pandemic. The White House wants to push back against that message by taking a victory lap with events around the country. Polls show that a majority of Americans do support the law. Aisha Roscoe, NPR News.
First Lady Jill Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris also taking the show on the road this week to sell the COVID relief package to the American public. The First Lady set to visit Burlington, New Jersey today. Harris and her husband are heading to Las Vegas, and she is to make a joint appearance with President Biden in Atlanta on Friday. The Netflix biopic Mank will lead the parade of Oscar contenders at Hollywood's 93rd Academy Awards. NPR's Bob Mondello reports.
Hollywood loves a Hollywood story, and this year it's embracing one about the man who wrote Citizen Kane.
Call me Mank. 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 Mank.
This is Herman Mankiewicz, but we're to call him Mank.
A black and white Netflix production which did not play in movie theaters thanks to a pandemic dispensation this year from the Academy. Mank received 10 nominations, including Best Picture, Best Original Screenplay, Best Actor, Gary Oldman, Best Supporting Actress, Amanda Seyfried, and Best Director, David Fincher. It's followed in the Best Picture category by 6 films with 6 nominations each: Judas and the Black Messiah, The Father, Minari, Nomadland, The Sound of Metal, and The Trial of the Chicago 7, and one with 5 nominations, Promising Young Woman. The Oscars will be handed out on April 25th. Bob Mondello, NPR News.
The Vatican ruled today that the Catholic Church cannot bless same-sex unions because they are deemed illicit. NPR's Sylvia Pedroli reports the ruling language added it is not intended to be unjust discrimination.
The ruling states that it is not lawful to impart a blessing on relationships or partnerships, even stable, that involve sexual activity outside of marriage, which the Vatican deems solely as the indissoluble union of a man and a woman. Therefore, the document added the blessing of homosexual unions cannot be considered licit. The Vatican's doctrinal watchdog, the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith, issued the ruling and said it was approved by Pope Francis. The 2-page document, published in 7 languages, is in response to questions and moves to bestow such blessings as a means to welcome gay Catholics into the Church despite its ban on same-sex marriage. The ruling concluded by saying, God cannot bless sin. Sylvia Pedroli, NPR News, Rome.
This is NPR. To Jordan now, where there is a wave of public anger over the deaths of at least 6 COVID-19 patients. Nahumsi reports that patients at a hospital died after oxygen tanks failed.
For 2 hours, medical staff at a government hospital neglected to act after oxygen ran out. The hospital's negligence was a catalyst for public anger. Protesters demonstrated, calling for government accountability. They also rallied against the government's coronavirus restrictions, which have hit the Jordanian economy hard. Jordanian officials acted swiftly to contain the discontent. The health minister resigned, and the director of the hospital, along with 4 other officials, were detained over the deaths. King Abdullah visited the overstretched hospital. In a video circulated online, he can be heard reprimanding the hospital director. For NPR News, I'm Nada Hamsi in Beirut.
That late winter storm that's been hitting Colorado, Wyoming, and Nebraska with heavy snow is being called historic. The National Weather Service says it has dumped as much as 27 inches in Denver and a record 20 inches in Cheyenne. According to PowerOutage.us, more than 24,000 customers remain without power in Colorado. The Chinese capital has been hit by a sandstorm, the Weather Bureau calling it the biggest in a decade. Hundreds of flights at Beijing's 2 main airports had to be canceled, and low visibility snarled traffic. Although Beijing officials have taken steps to limit sandstorms, the city faces them regularly in March and April because of its proximity to the Gobi Desert. I'm Giles Snyder, NPR News.
Coming up after the news on the BBC World Service, it's Hard Talk with me, Stephen Sackett.
Scientists have developed COVID vaccines with unprecedented speed. Now it's the manufacture and distribution which will dictate how quickly the pandemic can be tamed. My guest today, Adar Poonawalla, is boss of the biggest vaccine producer in the world, Serum Institute of India. He went all in on a production deal with AstraZeneca, and for many of us, the jab we get will have been made by him.
When we announced to do this, there was a lot of skepticism that would we be able to scale up in time and stockpile all these vaccines. When we fast forward, we've already dispatched more than 95 million doses to more than 50 countries, and we've produced more than 100 million doses already. So I think we're well on track, and we're hoping to scale up further.
That's Adar Poonawalla on Hard Talk after the news.
Hello, I'm Moira Alderson with the BBC News. Gunmen in Nigeria have abducted a number of primary school pupils and their teachers in the northwestern Nigerian state of Kaduna. It's the first time a primary school has been targeted in a wave of kidnappings. It's not clear how many young children have been abducted. Ishaq Khalid in Abuja has the details.
Eyewitnesses told the BBC that the gunmen on motorbikes attacked the primary school in Rema village as the children arrived for morning classes. Security forces and local vigilantes are trying to pursue them. The fact that this happened in broad daylight makes this incident especially shocking. Since December, around 800 students in Nigeria have been abducted by armed criminal gangs. But this is the first time primary school children have been targeted. Hostages are usually released after negotiations with the kidnappers. Many Nigerians believe ransom payments are fueling the problem.
Germany has become the latest European country to suspend distribution of the AstraZeneca vaccine. It follows a similar move by Ireland and the Netherlands after Norway reported instances of blood clots developing in people who'd had the jab. AstraZeneca and the World Health Organization say there's no proof of any link. Earlier, German health agencies urged the government to take steps now to avert a surge in infections. Police and soldiers in Myanmar have again opened fire on people protesting against last month's military coup. At least 5 more have been killed. On Sunday, 50 people died, the worst single day of brutality since the demonstrations began. The BBC's Southeast Asia correspondent Jonathan Head says the Burmese army has gone to war with its own people.
We're all reeling from looking at these images and seeing the dreadful injuries that people suffered, and the numbers were just so much higher even than in previous episodes of violence. And also seeing video of the security forces deliberately shooting people, completely uncaring, and some of the dreadful treatment they administer to people that they find, people who are wounded, people who are dying, who are dragged off like animals. This is an army and a police force who are showing total disregard for the lives, the welfare of the people they're supposed to protect.
The UN Special Envoy for Syria, Geir Pedersen, has called for an end to what the UN describes as the country's living nightmare, 10 years after Syrians first held rallies demanding peaceful change. Jamil Debel is a doctor in Idlib, in the northwest of Syria. He's told the BBC that children were suffering greatly.
A decade of war is too much here for the people, and especially for children. Today, Syria is one of the worst places in the world to be a child. Around 600,000 people, including 55,000 children, have been killed. Half of population displaced, and child's life expectancy has been reduced by 13 years.
This is Moira Alderson with the latest world news from the BBC. The European Union has begun legal action against its former member Britain over an alleged breach of the Brexit deal. The European Commission objects to London's unilateral decision to delay checks that were due to come into force next month on goods moving from the British mainland to Northern Ireland. The case could end up in the European Court of Justice. A former French senator and government minister has been fined $6,000 for the sexual harassment of a female gendarme guarding his official residence. Jean-Vincent Placé propositioned the woman 5 years ago. Her lawyer told the court in Paris that she initially let the matter rest with an apology, but pressed charges last year when the impact sank in. The film Mank from the streaming service Netflix has led this year's Academy Award nominations. It's included in 10 categories, including Best Picture. Mank is the story of the man who wrote the screenplay to the Hollywood classic Citizen Kane. And for the first time, the Best Director category includes 2 women, Chloe Zhao and Emerald Fennell. Walkers on a beach in Ireland have spotted a walrus thousands of kilometres from its home in the Arctic Circle. Marine biologists say they believe it could have fallen asleep on an iceberg before being carried across the Atlantic to the Irish coast. Charlotte Gallagher reports.
On a windy Sunday afternoon on Valentia Island off the Kerry coast, there was an unusual sight, an Arctic walrus lounging on rocks next to the bitterly cold Atlantic Ocean. People visit the island for its wildlife, gannets, seals and dolphins. But a walrus, described as being the size of a giant dairy cow by locals, is a first. The male marine mammal is still young, with tusks around 30 centimetres long. When he's fully grown, they'll be up to a metre.
Charlotte Gallagher reporting. BBC News.
That was the WINN FM Headline News. The headline news was brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Caribou.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built non-governmental healthcare organization on St Kitts, offering 24-hour nursing, therapeutic and residential care for older adults? It's situated at Otley, 7 miles east of Vastair in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodation to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020, fax 466-8221, or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com, or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
We are faced with tough decisions every day, but choosing the right home or motor insurance shouldn't be one. You need fast claim settlement from a company that's been rooted for over 31 years. And don't forget the A Excellent rating by AM Best. Make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Reliable insurance that you can count on. Get a quote today for your home, motor, contents, and liability insurance needs, and make the intelligent choice. Caribbean Alliance. Tomorrow secured. Local agents, DeLille Walwyn & Co. Limited. Telephone 465-2631 or 469-5303 for the Nevis office.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world. Whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous, you can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air. We get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises, telephone number 466-9595.
Good afternoon to our many listeners and, of course, our viewers. Welcome back to Voices. My name is Socrates, and I have with me today co-hostess, clinical dietitian and psychologist. Lady Margaret Stevens, and of course our super guest was Kesha Isacc-Adams, playwright, director, and producer. This day we were discussing some of the plays, well, aspect of a play she put on some weeks ago, which I was so very much impressed with. So we were discussing that and other things. So for those who joined us this morning and made their contribution via call, welcome back to the program. You're asked to call back, make your contributions on any other topic, but of course we're wrapping with Kesha today. And I said I'm going to sit back and let the ladies take over the show. But I want to talk to Ms. Adams briefly about how we met, why we met, the circumstances and what led to. Apart from the awesome respect and admiration for her work, I was very much impressed with the role she's taken as a young person, the platform she's working with. So how did we meet?
Okay, let's see. I think it was back in 2009 or thereabouts. I was approached by a lady from Central Bank about doing a play for Haiti after they had gone through the multiple earthquakes back then. And I said, sure, you know. And then I went to an event at the old girls' school, my school. Yes, okay. I'm that old. I went to girls' school. So I was there, and you were there doing sound, and you performed the night. And while I was there listening to the different things, and then I saw your performance and everything, a light bulb just went off like, dang, you know, this could be a part of it. And I approached you because I've never spoken to you. I had never spoken to you until that point. And I was like, okay, well, I have this idea. So what do you do with the idea? You go and you pitch it. What's the worst thing you could say? No. That's all you could say. And then I'm just like, I won't beg. I'll just be like, okay. But it didn't take much convincing, thankfully. Thankfully, you agreed and everything. And I honestly don't remember if I asked you to write a song, or if I asked you if you had a song already. But either way, you ended up writing a song.
You volunteered me.
I volunteered you.
And it was the play itself, what you were doing, that really inspired me to not say no. I really don't say no to those things. And it gave me a challenge because I had to do some research.
Yes.
And so I want to thank you for that opportunity. I later did a song in competition. It got rave reviews, and it was called We're Still Sorry.
Yes.
It related to Haiti and how the region as a whole, forget the globe.
Yes.
We're talking about the closer Caribbean responded to the disaster in Haiti. I recall we sent so much aid to many other islands.
Yes.
And we just ignored Haiti.
Yes.
So your play brought a winner. So you're asking me to be part of that. I could not say no.
Yes.
So thanks for volunteering me.
You're most welcome. I enjoyed all of it. Even though the research, like I said on the break, the research for it was so hard. I enjoyed putting it together, and I enjoyed the persons that I got to work with. I mean, you were there. Masood was there. One of the Haitian guys was there. Stefan Vincent, when he lived here, he was there. He did poetry. Samal did poetry. That was actually...
And the dress code.
It was good. I mean, everybody had to... We had a caller.
We pause to entertain this call. Call 11 Voices. Okay, we lost a caller. Please feel free to call back. Continue praying.
Yeah, the guys, I think you... Oh, Jesus.
Call 11 Voices if you're there. Welcome to the program. Margaret is a hit and run. Okay, go ahead.
I think the guys had to wear khakis and white tops. And if they could make themselves look as like...
Hello there, caller. Welcome to the program.
Yes, it's me back again about the Haiti business.
Yes.
You see, we talk about
You need to stay back from your radio. There's an echo of feedback from we're getting, so maybe you want to change your location.
You still getting the feedback?
It sounds a lot better. Go right ahead.
Huh?
It sounds better at the moment. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. You see, we talk about Africa, countries that we don't know about, countries that miles away from us. But Haiti is in the Caribbean, and we're watching the neighbor knock them out. But their neighbor could go any place except St. Martin in the Caribbean. St. Martin, they got to get visa now to come in, to go in. And that is why you see they are flooding us, because St. Martin are not taking them anymore. But look at it. The president say they are not a black country. There's a white country, because Spain, they owned them at one time, so Spain left them a white country. Now, Haiti is more black than a lot of we blacks in the Caribbean, because Haiti didn't go through what a lot of us go through. But Haiti getting the most knocked out. And the Santo Domingo could go any place and enjoy everything that is going on, especially here in St. Kitts. They could go to the hospital, they could go to the clinic, they could go, they get children, the children could be registered. They do everything. Mm-hmm. But what I want to say, what goes to Haiti goes to we too. Because he said it is the country is a white country. So that means we can go to Santo Domingo and enjoy nothing. Right? While they could come out and enjoy everything other people have. You see the unfairness?
Here's a question. Can you direct us to where we can find that particular statement by the president of Haiti, of Santo Domingo?
Well, boy, I'm going to tell you the truth, eh? You got to go back. You remember when they were sending them out first?
Yeah, a couple of years ago.
You remember when they say some of them there since 1932?
I don't recall all the particulars, but I call it. I remember
in that area, he made the statement with the interpreter, because people started to
react.
He out at him and he said, Santo Domingo is not. I take me 2 years and hear him. He says Santo Domingo is not a black country.
So it's not a recent
Santo
statement.
Domingo is a white country, and he gonna keep it white.
So it's not a recent statement that relates to the building of the wall.
Huh?
It's not a recent statement that relates to the building of the wall.
No.
Okay.
Is the last time? Okay, I'm gonna say the first time when there was rounding them up and sending them out. Some I think the same Bahamas must be talked to him about it, and he said what he had to say. But look at it. Anywhere you turn, you could hear his people mouth. But you can't hear no other body mouth in his country.
Well, one of them panelists.
You know, that's why like what St. Martin do. If they want to come there, they got to get a visa. And a lot of us need to do the same thing to them.
Okay, let me interject here a second here, please. One of my panelists made note of the fact that many of these persons coming here today are descendants of Kittitians or nationals who went to the Dominican Republic.
I don't believe that.
You don't believe it? It's a fact.
How you don't believe it? When sugar was king in the Caribbean, we are taught in history that when sugar was king in the Caribbean, persons traveled.
Let me say this. How I got a history.
Okay.
The most people who live from St Kitts and Nevis is Nevis people.
Still the
and
Federation.
They live direct from St Kitts.
But St Kitts and Nevis is
still
the Federation.
We're one.
And when they walk in Panama, started to finish.
On the Panama Canal.
Then they went over to Haiti, to Santo Domingo.
They still reach.
But they still arrived
It
there.
doesn't matter the route they took, they still got there.
But it never lost a citizen.
You don't need a lot.
Well,
You don't need a lot.
There are Kittian men here that have 30, 40 children.
Exactly, you don't need a lot.
Okay, so you only need one man and some sperm.
As a scapegoat to come in, because a lot of them, look, let me say something to you. Only out of all of them that I deal with, I work with them. Not one of them could tell you who is the family here in St. Kitts. Only one man I met. One of them I met. And I asked him, who is his family? Then he comes straight out and tell me. His family is a Warner from Sandy Point. And he tell me...
Okay, let me propose to you this. My husband, his father was Kittian. He went to England to be an engineer way back when. He moved back out here with his children. He did not know his father. So basically, their genealogy line ends at him. He doesn't know his father, but his father, according to what his mother said to him, moved away to Trinidad when he was a young boy. Therefore, we can say, hypothesis, he got married down there, he had children down there. Therefore, my husband's family continues in Trinidad. But we can't go to Trinidad and say we know exactly who the family is. But he had children down there. We just don't know them. So not everybody knows their family history, and that speaks a lot to how our families don't communicate and information. We don't pass on information all the time.
I agree with all what you're saying to me, But let me say this. Let's put it like this. The Sentinels who come into St. Kitts and other Caribbean countries, they are young Sentinels. So you could say this
They claim in heritage.
Grandchildren then.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because when a lot of them went to Santo Domingo, it was in the 20s and the this and that, Do you know that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
But that doesn't
The
make
bloodline is still there.
The bloodline is still
there. They are not alive today.
But that doesn't matter.
The bloodline
that doesn't matter.
Children alive today.
But that doesn't matter. But the bloodline exists. The bloodline.
Heritage is heritage. It's like
you can't take out genetics. You can't change your DNA because your ancestors are dead.
It's like they're doing DNA testing right now to tell you we are in Africa. You
500 years ago.
Descend from
because we can test.
Let's hear you, sir.
Children born in Santo Domingo from Haitian parents.
Yes, and
they
are
don't
denied
have the right.
The nationality. Yes.
Okay,
Santo Domingans.
Okay, but at the end of the day,
and that is my argument.
I think
Thank you.
what we lose
appreciate
is the fact that we are all Caribbean people, regardless.
We are.
And this kind of behaviour has to be challenged wherever it happens.
Another caller. But his point is well taken.
Wherever
about,
it happens, we can't.
The discrimination.
As a Caribbean people, as a Caribbean race, we cannot continue to treat each other like this.
Yes.
We cannot continue to ostracize each other because of this colour of your skin, because of your...
And we have another call on the line. Welcome to the program.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How about thou?
I'm okay, and welcome back.
Thank you very much.
You all were missing in action for quite a while.
Oh, okay.
I think last week we were off air, so there was a technical thing, but I heard you later on the day, so I know you're around in 11 kicking. We are now in for some fireworks. Go right ahead.
No, man, ain't no fireworks. To your panelists, Mrs. Kesha.
Hi.
Look, do not tangle up that last caller, you hear?
I'm sorry, people just trigger me. Just got triggered.
Because you see how you mentioned about your husband and having probably an extended family in Trinidad?
Yes.
You think he can go down there and claim citizenship? Just turn up and say, well, okay, I have family here.
He wouldn't be able to anyway.
He won't be able to, right?
No.
Exactly. I have a side of the family where a member was born in Curacao.
Mm-hmm.
And he lived here, got his children here, but unfortunately, he didn't do anything for them to get their papers for Curacao. Do you think his offspring here can turn up in Curacao and say, well, oh, my father was born here and his name was this and such, and they accept them? You think so?
Okay, look, the thing is, right, when you're talking about, this is my whole platform on engaging him. It wasn't necessarily the processes of citizenship. That is not my issue. Because I get what you're saying. People must go through proper channels and whatnot to get your thing based on the policies of the country. I get that. I totally agree with him on that. But what my dear friend here was saying about us discriminating against each other in the Caribbean, that is my whole thing. That he's talking about how the Santo Domingans, the Dominican Republic, is discriminating against Haiti, right? That is definitely not right. But where the president is talking about, we are a white country and whatnot, that is self-hatred. That is a lot of self-hatred, and it's colorism and all of those things that have just bled into the Caribbean and stayed in the Caribbean for all these generations, unfortunately. But we are not acting any differently. We are not acting any better. Yes, about any of them, because you're saying, we don't cuss the Spanish on the road. We don't cuss them. I don't see it. Not we people. I don't do it. I see people cussing out the Spanish. Go back where you're from, and whatnot. The Haitians, we want them here. We are just as bad. We are doing the exact same thing, not just to the Haitians, but to the people from the Dominican Republic. We do it to the Jamaicans. We do it to everybody. My husband was born and grew up in England. He's British. He's a British black. He faced a lot of racism. He faced a lot of racism and all of those things in England. His dad being Kittitian born, his mother being Jamaican descent. They came out here and they moved to Nevis. And you want me to tell you, one of the things that he repeats often is that when he was growing up in Nevis, how he was always treated as an outsider. They used to tell him, "Bye, you're not born here. You're not from here," and whatnot, even though he had full rights to be here. And he could trace his blood.
Somebody would have said amen.
So it's not just a matter. It's not just a matter of the processes of citizenship. That's not really my issue.
Kesha.
Yes, I'm listening.
You said he wasn't born in St Kitts and Nevis?
No.
No, nor was I.
He was born in
if they say to him, "You're not born here," isn't that correct?
No. The statement being inherently true has nothing to do with the sentiment. The sentiment is xenophobic.
Yes.
That is what the sentiment was. It's not about the truth of the statement, because a fact is a fact. He's factually not born here.
You're sure it's not a matter that the people were, what we were saying, pulling his legs and maybe...
No, they weren't. They weren't. They were bullying him. They were bullying him.
Because of his experience in England, with all the racism that he met or he got up there, he might have been traumatized in a way. So when he went to Nevis and they said, "Boy, you were not born here," he aligned that to his experience in England.
Okay,
because a lot of us get heckled
let's do
along the
some
line,
aligning.
and we
Let's do
know
some
when
aligning.
it was a joke.
No, it wasn't a
it
joke.
was not
Because
a joke.
look, I am born Kittitian. I born here, right? I am from Keon. I grew up partially in town and partially in Keon. When I first moved back to Keon as a little girl in grade 3, you want me to tell you, I got the full brunt of nobody want to play with you and say, "You look, you're so white." And, here you talk, you ain't even sound like us. I born here. I was born here. What make you sound so?
But I can talk.
And it wasn't a joke.
But I can talk firsthand
Keisha,
to not being born here.
Let me finish up.
Sure.
Because the thing is running and I don't want it to end and I'm not putting what I have to say.
Go ahead, carry on.
Keisha, you have to understand, right, that we as a people, sometimes we don't want to address it. I don't know why, but we're going to always go around in circles and we're going to always perish because we don't want to deal with the issue.
Which is?
We as a people, we have been very messed up. And one of the things that has happened to us is this mixing out. So even among the black people, you're going to have problems. And that's why, to me, I don't see any unity among all of us who are deemed to be black.
True.
Because you're going to have a lot of black people among us who will not unite.
True.
Because their mind is not with us. But let me go back to Santo Domingo and end. Those ones who you see coming here, we have ways, to find out if they are related. You look at the time when the men went to Santo Domingo. Mm-hmm. You look at how many went. You have ways of finding out.
We do.
Okay? And I could guarantee you that back in that time, them who went go cut cane is dark skin and they going to Santo Domingo, there's no way they could have get involved with no white person down there, no white woman to get no children.
That's definitely not true.
Excuse me?
That is not true. Because on the plantation, when women had black children all the time.
I'm not saying that it might not have happened one or two, but I'm telling you, it was not.
Please.
Who white woman down there is going to talk about he get involved with a cane cutter? You tell me. Somebody who walk in the street, somebody who in a house of ill repute.
I know upper class women that got children with janitors.
Can I tell you?
But the thing about it is,
it's got nothing to do with where you come from or what you do. It's about sex at the end of the day.
Look, those who come here do not fit the description.
It's about sex.
You can't tell me that it's all pale skin who come here and there were no dark children born in Haiti. You can't, born down there. No dark skin born down there, and I bet
that come over here
if dark skin ones start coming out of Santo Domingo, they don't want them here. You know what? Because we are messed up. We are messed up. This same thing, history is just repeating itself. They don't want no Haitians here, but they are looking at the intelligence and the skill set of the Haitians. I mean, those who make things happen. The artistry and all of that of our people there in Haiti. All where you hear people saying, we don't want them ya up ya, as if nobody walking up your way ever else.
Voodoo.
And you take the light-skinned ones, and what happened? You have all kind of houses of ill repute.
Mm-hmm.
Mine, they're going to say, well, the people I'm here doing it too. Right? But look at how it has blown out since they came. Many of them who here, misses some of them there, I could tell you they ain't have no relatives here. And you know what? It's who we see and it's who we regard as valuable. A lot of our people here, they prefer them. I have taken my 2 eyes and I have seen persons in position where people will call it top position, who will not even support their own people here when it comes to a shop or whatever. They will not support them, but I have seen them in these places spending their money, getting along with them, and their own people, they can't eat from them because their own people can't cook for them. They're going to poison them, you see? But these here ain't going to poison them. You see, it's the mentality. It's all because of the skin. They despise themselves so much. That's why you see they welcome this side of Santo Domingo. And all the people talking about, they have family here. But anybody check to see, suppose the whole of Santo Domingo chose to empty out in here. Is this what we're going to say? We have family? So where was the family? Where does the family start? And where does it end?
Question.
And finally, before I go.
Would they ever gotten here legally? Would they ever come here legally?
Well, if they come in illegally, where you find them and send them back out?
But have they?
A lot of our people like to say, we went overseas too. Yes, but you think it was easy for our people over there? Many of them, our people overseas in America and so on for years, contributing, and up to today, they can't get straight. You hear? They have to take all sorts of abuse because they don't have any paper. We speak as when our people go outside here. Governments in other countries make it easier for us. That is not true. We accommodate a lot of people here. We put ourselves out of the way. Break the law for a lot of persons. Things that they would not do for their own. So, they break the law to accommodate. Nobody do that for us. I'm not saying that we don't go out there. But finally, before I go, you see how even common citizens holding up those dark-skinned persons who they call Haitians and throwing them across the border? It's only a matter of time they do here. You see what is happening? Because I have seen and I heard a lot of them come here, they don't have no respect for nobody here, They stand up to you and they want to fight you and they're cussing you in your own place.
And
I'm going to stay there. I say no more.
And what have we done?
We're going to...
Go ahead, Socrates.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'm going to tell... I done... Okay. Sorry if we cut you off the call, but we're going to pause forward from a sponsor at this point in time and then get back into the meat of the thing. I did tell you there'll be some fireworks.
That's fine.
Pause forward from sponsors. We'll be right back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is WINN FM.
Get ready for an exciting year with Flow Broadband and TV connecting you at home. Sign up now and get a free Samsung tablet worth over $900. Up to 100 megabits per second blazing internet will keep everyone on top of everything every day. While Flow TV delivers the best home entertainment with the latest shows on demand in HD plus favorites you can record. Visit your nearest Flow store today to sign up for Flow Broadband and TV and get your free Samsung tablet. Conditions apply.
Everything's gotta go. Horsford's Automotive, everything gotta go. Clearance sale is happening now. All 2018, 2019, and 2020 models gotta go. Yes. Come to Horsford's Automotive and get $10,000 off select 2020 models. That's right. Horsford's Automotive is making room for 2021 by offering $10,000 off select 2020 models. And that's not all. Come now and get 0% down payment. No payment until May 2021. $500 in free groceries, free servicing for 1 year, free bill of sale, free tinting, free registration, free accessories, and free licensing. Horsford's Automotive, everything gotta go clearance sale. The biggest clearance sale event of the year. Select 2020 vehicles, price to go. Everything gotta go. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Straight back to the line as there's a caller line. Caller, welcome to the program. Welcome to Voices. Yabba dabba doo. What say you?
Oh yes, I just get to Yeah, good afternoon to everybody.
Good afternoon, sir.
Now the caller before you went to the break there, I have to agree with her. I think what she's saying because it used to be the other way around. More black people, black slaves used to be raped by the black slave masters than the other way around. It was taboo in those days for a white woman to get involved with a black man.
But it happened.
But it wasn't taboo for a black man, a white man to rape a lot of his slaves, female slaves.
Got your point.
So much so he had some of them working in his house. I mean, I think we heard of a story of I can't remember his name, popular, an American who had 6 children by this black woman, and some of these people are now claiming their ancestry
Jefferson.
by going back to find out that they were related to.
It was President
Secondly,
Jefferson.
she mentioned something about, you think I could 10, 20 of us could go to China and open up all these shops? I doubt it. But they can come here, open shops all over the place, and in some cases, running out locals closing down the shop because they either sell the things cheaper or what, I really don't know, because they don't really borrow money from the bank here. But what I understand is that the government gives them the money. I mean, it can't be right. And then all these Haitians who come in here, you're telling me that all of them related to some Kiddishan here in St Kitts? And you want to believe that? You believe that?
Haiti is part of the Caribbean. If they come into the country legally, then they're entitled to be here and to work here.
I'm not saying they're not entitled to come in. I'm saying that the majority of them that come into St Kitts are not related to Kiddishans.
But that doesn't matter.
But that doesn't matter as long as they're here legally.
And our attitude towards them is
legally. A lot of them are not here legally. A lot of them are not here in St Kitts legally.
Well, that is for the structures. Then there should be structures in place.
Let me finish, please.
Go ahead.
Just like how you had about 14 of them came in over the Connery area there some time ago there.
That's the Haitians.
They're the only 14 who come to St Kitts. It just happened so that they got caught.
Yes, that's the Haitians.
That's the Haitians. They got caught.
But like you said, they got caught.
Living here who didn't come here legally. And if you don't want to believe that, then something is definitely wrong. But I know a lot of them
saying that.
We're not saying we don't believe you, but we're saying we have laws that are able to deal with that, or supposedly able to deal with that.
Processes.
You know,
we have in England now. People who've been to England many donkey years ago. Because you sound like a person who lived in England or born in England.
I was born in
England. They
England.
black people from up there. How come?
From the Windrush era.
Because they don't have any papers. Because they don't have the relevant papers. It's not right, and they have corrected that. Their processes have corrected that, because they found that, you know, when the Windrush people came over, they were denied documentation, and now that has come to the light, they all now are entitled to their documentation. They're all now entitled to their social security. So it was all corrected. That's what I'm saying. We have processes, we have laws that deal with things, and we should let those laws and processes take effect.
But some of these laws are not put in place.
But that's not my problem.
Speak to the lawmakers.
Speak to the lawmakers. Speak to your politicians.
There's a lot of foreigners living here in St Kitts.
Speak to your politicians. Speak to your politicians, because if the law is not doing what it's supposed to do, then your representatives are the ones that are responsible.
One politician said many years ago, when the Kiddishan was making us about the Chinese, he said like this here, and I heard him, what made a little competition? And now they're taking out the place.
Well, it's for the people to band together and come up against the politicians.
Exactly.
If the politician chatting foolishness, get out the politician.
The politician is you. You the people. You voted for him. You put him there.
What you say? Sorry.
How are we gonna get him out?
How we guess so you put him in?
We supposedly have a democratic process here. So if your representatives aren't fulfilling their obligations, you are their employer. So you take them out, you fire them.
But you know that's the problem. How our system has been running for eons.
Welcome, caller. Your voices.
No, you see, are you listening? And that lady born in England.
Yes.
But let me say this.
That lady?
I don't remember her name right now, but she was president. Now, in the Windrush time.
Thatcher?
Margaret Thatcher?
Oh, she was a
she
was the prime minister.
Prime minister.
Yes.
The man take over from her.
Tony Blair.
Now, when she was foreign secretary or something like that, she deliberately did it.
Yes.
She deliberately did it.
Yes.
But Margaret Thatcher was a known racist.
She didn't want to pay them the pension. Now look at, you see, this is what I'm talking about. You see, anywhere you turn it, black people get knocked out.
But
now that after the war, they take us up there to build the country.
Yes.
Jamaicans and people all over. When we feel happy going, we're going to a new country, and we're going to make a daily bread. When we reach up there, we walk. But look what happened after that.
Yeah, but that has been rectified.
The grandma and the grandpa get old.
Yeah.
They say, look, I want one more look at the country before dying. They come back to St Kitts, they come back to Jamaica, they come back to Trinidad, they come back to...
And they deny the re-entry.
And when they return, they present a document. Where is your document, sir? Here, this is what I have. They give them a document, tell them, well, no, they gotta go back home. God bless the man in Guyana, who the parliamentarian, who embarrassed her when they had the heads of what they call Commonwealth meeting. Is he who saved them? Because he never forgave. A lot of them would have been down the road. I want to say, and you know that, a lot of them would have been down the road. You see, so that's what I'm saying. We black people, we take a lot of knockbout. But when the time comes for we to give back we knockbout, everybody ball. Lord, this. Lord, they start us. There's this.
Two wrongs don't make a right.
Exactly.
And that's it. Not two wrongs, but you have to do it.
No, you don't.
Because, look, okay,
Why?
let me ask you a question. You think it's right when Europe want to keep us down?
No.
They bring up some kind of black sanction and tell us with this and with that.
I don't think it's right at all.
Every country, the country individually, okay? He's the one from Dominica. Put it on St Kitts now. You think it is wrong? You think it's right?
Of course, I think it's wrong.
It's not right. It's wrong.
We need to open our eyes.
Yes, we need to open our eyes and we need to stand
Say
together.
I'm going to say one more thing and I'm going now.
Okay.
You know why
Excuse me a second.
so much black people
It was Theresa May he was referring to.
have a fear
So we just called to correct.
in taking the vaccine?
I'm sorry,
You know
say
why?
that again?
You know why so much black people got a fear of taking the vaccine?
Yeah.
Because they do. No, let me say this before I go to pass.
Yeah, watch your time, please, because we
I am not
need
a
to.
racist man. I am not a racist man.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you something. I rather work with white contractors in St Kitts because I get a better treatment.
Irony.
Sir.
Right? I tell you the truth. I rather work with white contractors, the overseas white contractors who come here to build, the pier to build this.
You're making the case.
The irony.
What I'm saying,
Oh, dear.
what I'm trying to say is that we got to open with eyes. I respect white people. If they don't respect me, I'm not
Same way people that keep it on down.
The same people that standing on our necks every day.
You just spoke about Theresa May's policy. You just spoke about Theresa May's policy. Anyway,
Wow.
let me let you guys respond to that, please.
Wow. I'm sorry. Wow.
You guys handle that. Kesha, Margaret, you.
All we're saying is that we have to treat each other kinder and being more respectful towards each other and stop doing this whole, oh, you're not from here, when all of us are supposed to be one people. Now, the processes of the land, they should do what they were put in place to do. If the processes are failing, oh, Lord.
Caller, you're on Voices. Welcome. Okay. Good. Good afternoon, caller. You're on Voices. Okay.
If the processes are failing.
Good afternoon, caller. You're on Voices.
Again, I'm kind of glad I get you now after that fellow there. I want to remind him because maybe he don't listen to the news. Some years ago, Omarosa, the girl who was close to Trump.
Omarosa. Omarosa, yeah.
Yes. She said some time ago that black people supposed to bow down and
did she know?
Kiss Trump, something like that.
Yes, she was really
to that
Trump.
point. To that point. I think you all remember that.
Yes.
That
Yes. Yeah.
remark made by her. And she was turned out, kicked out by Trump, called out on the names, and then someone said she came out and write a book about the treatment that
and she cried.
meted out to people.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know this thing about what you said. Must what? Kiss what? About black people. What you said a while ago.
He said that we should respect.
Respect. Well, we're
white
supposed to
people.
respect all people. Why
Yes.
do white people alone?
Yes.
I mean, there's a lot of black people out there who've been treated like dogs. They should get all the respect. Why white people? If he and so I have nothing against it. That's your opinion. You work with them. You're treated better than you are with a black contractor. Fair enough. You can make that accusation, that statement, and I wouldn't know how many white contractors you work with. But there's a lot of good black contractors all over the place.
True. Mm-hmm.
Because I work with one for short about 3 years. And I think I always tell him that when he die, he go in heaven. And he know what I mean by that. I hope he's listening. Because he was a good man.
Okay.
I used to walk close to a white man in the area, when say where. And when he come on the site, my boss was working, but when he come on the site, he won't say, go have some to a soul. He just walks in the place like that. I mean, anyway, I don't want to say public what I really want to say. So
Okay, please. Okay. Well, I want to thank you for your contribution. You'll get back in on the line after that last caller. Ladies, take it away.
You know what I was here thinking just now, something that I have said multiple times. People are people. It boils down to personality. It boils down to your nature. It boils down to your nurturing.
Yeah.
The environment you grew up in, your beliefs, your values, all of those things. They make you what you are as a person, regardless of your skin tone or whatever. It doesn't matter. I've been around persons who have said, you know what, I don't like Jamaicans because they this and that. And I go, not all. Not all Jamaicans.
Good afternoon, caller. Oh, we lost that caller?
Yes, I was like, I've met some excellent Jamaicans. I've loved them. They are my friends. I love them. And
good afternoon, caller. You're on Voices.
Good afternoon. Sorry to call back in again, but let me make this quickly. I don't think that we reach to the point where we understand how to differentiate or draw the line between things or what we believe. If we have to look at what we believe compared to our actions. Now, to any one of you there in that studio, me and any one of you don't have to like one another. We don't have to like each other. But that doesn't mean that both of us or all of us can't be next door neighbors. Right? I will not interfere with you. You don't interfere with me. We cannot like each other and still be next door neighbors and live at peace. Because as the Bible says, right, as much as it is possible, as much as it is possible, live at peace with all men. The Bible also says, do not contend with anyone if that person does not contend with you. We have a mentality in this place. We have this blanket, generalized thing, and we try to cross everything. You understand? We don't put the brakes and limitations on certain things. And to me, I am very weary and tired of hearing people, oh, we are all human, we are all people, it's just the color of the skin are different. No. The skin is not it. It is the mentality. It is the mentalities that we have to deal with, the ideologies and the philosophies. If somebody wants to kill me, why am I going to put myself in that person's way? If the two of us do not get along, does that mean that if a project comes up, the two of us cannot come together and work things out? We can work for the benefit of the good. When we go our separate ways, I don't have to say nothing to you, you don't have to say nothing to me. You see what I'm talking about? The thing about it is, our mentality towards this whole thing That's why you see we are not going to get any better because we don't look at situations and deal with them accordingly. My example, you see what is happening in Santo Domingo. Now, if we had loved our own people, you don't think we would have put our foot down and say, hey, look, regardless of whether you say you have family here or not, we don't like what is happening down there. And therefore, you cannot have a haven here. You're going to have to go back down there and you're going to have to rally your government to clean up things if you want to live here and to live here in peace. This is what we're saying. But we just turn a blind eye as if nothing is happening because what? We so hate ourselves and our own kind. And we put this under the umbrella of whatever. We are the only ones who do that. I have been over a particular place and I saw something happen. Okay, it's no violence or anything. But the rest of them who were there from Santo Domingo, they came to the assistance of the other one. They came and they find out what happened and whatsoever. And they see how they could settle whatever matter because it involved one of theirs. You don't have to be violent.
Got your point, Carla.
So we have to be careful. And finally, I don't want to take up any much time.
We got about 6 minutes for the program.
Kesha and your other lady said that I agree with them when they talk about the laws and whatever. Well, we have our representatives and whatsoever, right? And what came to my mind, because we speak a lot about persons who are here almost every day, especially the weekend you go into town and you see a different face and they're getting redder and redder. This is a small place, nobody's seeing nothing. And my thing is it a matter that the immigration department ain't doing what they're supposed to do, or if they intend to do what they do, or if they move to do what they do, somebody gets a phone call and their job is compromised, so to speak. Is it a matter of that? Because it can't be that we have an immigration department and they're not doing anything. So it has to be somebody's overriding their decision. I'll stay there.
Okay, thank you. We're going to ask to hold the calls and give the ladies a chance to respond to that, and then, just about look to wrap it up because we needed Miss Adams to be able to speak to what she's up with. Trying to catch a breath here.
I think we put a pin in that and we go back to our original thing. Kesha, tell us about what you've got coming up.
Yeah, that
So
sounds like a good idea. Okay, so, wow. So yes, in terms of theatrical work, I am now engaged with my group and some others in a production for the Ministry of Health. They are doing a campaign, a women's health campaign for a little while. So they have different programs coming up. And one of them with me is called Exploring the V.
Okay.
And it is exactly what you think it is, Exploring the V. It's about...
Victory?
Sorry?
Victory?
Well, if you want to call... I do actually consider it to be a victory, to be able to speak openly about women's issues is a victory for women. Okay. So we could say that and whatnot. But, it's going to be a theatrical play with monologues because it was inspired by the American vagina monologues. Okay. And I know we have a problem saying that word out loud, but that is what it is. It is called a vagina. And so we're going to be talking about all the things that surround the vagina and things that affect it. Okay. And women, women's health issues, whether it be menstruation issues, birth, pregnancy, miscarriages. We specifically HIV we were dealing with, wonderful. PCOS, endometriosis, all of those things. Oh, wow. We're going to be dealing with all of those things, but in a fun, edutainment type of way. So don't think that you're going to come and be lectured. Right. That's not what's going to happen. It's going to be entertainment, but you're going to learn something from it. Some of it is going to be hard to hear, and some of it is going to be very light-hearted.
Okay.
So just listen out for that upcoming date. It's going to be in May. So we're soon ready to advertise and everything. So I hope you guys come out to the Shadwell Great House when it is time, and you join us for exploring the V. It's going to be a good one.
Wonderful. Anything to add to that, Socrates?
Join us in exploring the V.
Yes.
We got about 2 minutes before we wrap up the program today. And before you go, I want to shout out to Major Coyote Sutton up there at the Defense Forces quarters, all the folks in security, all the health workers, all the people who make this thing work, to the Voices fan base, the Chris Collins in him today, Richard Brenda, all the guys who normally call in, of course, Mr. Peter England Jury at the bank. I think you enjoyed this particular program today. It took us here, there, hither, thither, and yon. Of course, our special guest today, as I call her super guest, Miss Kesha Isacc-Adams, playwright, producer, director, and right now the lady of the moment. I want to give you guys a chance to just take it away. Let me just shut up. We got about 2 more minutes, and you just take it.
What does he want to say?
Oh, well, you maybe have person you want to shout out. You gave your upcoming play a plug. Give a time and date if you have a time and date.
No, we just have the
Actually, I do have the dates.
Oh, you do? Go
the
ahead.
day it's going to be May 1st and 2nd, and May 8th and 9th. And it begins at 7 o'clock every night. That's the Saturday, the first Saturday and Sunday, the second Saturday and Sunday in May. Yes, at 7 o'clock nightly. And listen out as well for the end of May. We're going to be having a lupus awareness cocktail and show. And Socrates is going to be writing a whole song on lupus. So I'm looking forward to that. I know he won't disappoint.
I'm being volunteered again.
Yes, you're being volunteered
like the very
again.
first time we met years ago.
So now the whole of the Voices family heard him being volunteered, so he can't back
I
down.
volunteered. I was volunteed. But not a problem. It's for a very worthy cause.
So I know he won't disappoint and everything. So May is Lupus Awareness Month, and we are trying to organize to get some stuff in place so that we can spread the word about lupus. I myself being a lupus, I won't say sufferer, even though it feels like sufferation sometimes, but we call ourselves warriors. Okay. So I am a lupus warrior, and yes, I want to shout out to all my lupus warriors, just to say, hold strong, hold the faith. Tomorrow is definitely going to be a brighter day. Yes.
Wonderful.
Margaret?
Well, I'm going to shout out to my sister Ella. I know that she's listening. And we've had a great show, and thank you so much for coming. It was
my pleasure.
Wonderful having you here, and please do come back. But we'll have you back before May, so you can update us again about
wonderful.
Yeah, about your upcoming shows. Sure. It's been great. Thank you for coming.
On behalf of WINN FM and their fan base, on behalf of the Voices fan base, I want to say thank you for this opportunity. It was indeed a very lovely, in-depth, informative program. A little, what did I say? Fire and brimstone in between. So we are invited to stay tuned tomorrow and every other day for Days on Voices. We will be back, God's willing, on Monday. My co-hostess, partner in crime.
Have a wonderful day. Be blessed and stay safe.
And we go tap da 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 tap. Here you go. Yes.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. WINN FM.